Yes. We are Journals Out Loud. I am Louise Palanker, the host of the show about teens, for teens, with teens. Yes.
I've been out there wandering.
And we are here to answer all of your teen concerns, your life concerns. We have answers, you have questions, and then we'll answer your questions, and that will bring up some questions of our own, which you guys will have to call in to answer because we do need a lot of help here. We're here with a panel of wise and wonderful teens. Josh is a little bit sick. If you hear coughing, it's probably Josh. Hello, Josh. And we're here with Lyric. And we have two new kids on the panel, and they are Mozart and Michelle. The M girls. Eminem is right here.
Eminem.
Yes. So I have to ask you how you got such an interesting name, and that you pronounce it Mozart rather than most people would, because you said your name to me, and I repeated Mozart. You said your name to Matt, and he repeated Mozart. So
She calls herself
tell
Mozart.
us the history of this wonderful name.
Well, when I was a baby, I was a very musical baby, and I was a very small baby when this happened. I don't remember quite the age.
All babies are small.
Yes, I was particularly small for a baby, and
You're a baby.
yes, and I was in a music together class with my mom. And I apparently stood up and clapped in time to the music, which isn't a normal thing for babies to do, I guess. So all the other moms were like, "Oh, you've got a little Mozart on your hands." So it just kind of started from there. And the whole Mozart thing, I've just never said Mozart. I don't know why. It's a mystery. I just say Mozart. I don't even know.
Do you have any fun, silly nicknames like Zardy or Momo?
Well,
how about starting tonight?
Well, Lyric calls me Mavzar.
We went to this restaurant once with a bunch of friends.
Yeah.
And I was Lyric, Lyric, and they were Lyriz. And then they call her Mavzar. Mavzar.
Is the name of this establishment Starbucks?
But then they get Dejanay right.
Then they get Dejanay right.
Oh my god. And then my two other friends, they got their names wrong.
Yeah, Makeda. They turned it into Makaden.
And then did they get Tanner's name wrong? Well,
Tanner didn't go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Tanner wasn't there.
Well, I don't know.
All right, A for effort.
They can't.
A for effort. So our musical guest has just arrived. Please say hello to Nick.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Nick.
How's it going?
Hello.
Good.
So Nick, you're going to get real close to the mic when you speak.
How's it going?
So Nick, my bad. I should have told you
so
guys to
close.
get here a half hour early. So I'm sorry to make you because we do start the show at 7:00, and I don't and now you just walked in, but it made it like Pee-wee's Big House Adventure. Didn't the doorbell always used to ring and
Ding ding.
someone
I
would
heard
be
that.
there and
It's
it's Nick. All right. So Nick, are you ready and prepared to answer questions about yourself? Ish. All right, so we'll talk amongst ourselves really quickly. So, so Mozart comes to the show because you have a musical career of your own, correct?
Yes.
What kind of music do you like?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. What kind of music do you like?
I'm a pop singer. I'm pop singer songwriter, and I'm an actress also. So
Excellent.
Yeah.
And Lyric is also a singer songwriter and a actress. Yes.
Oh, you little old me.
Yes.
Totally kidding.
This whole thing.
And aren't you a singer, actress,
Yes.
writer,
I'm a singer,
dancer,
songwriter, actress, filmmaker, hybrid.
lover?
Yeah. And Michelle, you are all of the above too. Theater geek girl.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. What do you like?
I love theater in general. That's it.
Thank you.
All aspects basically. I do costuming, I do makeup, I cosplay a lot. It's a huge passion. And then I also love to act. So I just mush it all together in a wonderful ball of nerd, and it's awesome.
Yay! I'm loving that description of self.
Yeah, that was great.
I'm a warm, fuzzy ball of nerd.
Yes. Embrace it. You just have to embrace it.
Yes, and we're all kind of. I mean, nerds are the best, right? Are you a nerd, Nick?
Well, I consider myself a progressive rock nerd, I guess.
Yeah. See, you can
Yes.
nerd out at anything that you're passionate about. If you're passionate beyond all other kind of description, then you're nerding out. So you can be sort of like a Pez nerd if you collect Pez. You can be.
I'm
That's
also
a first.
I'm also well, aside from music as well, I'm also an anime nerd.
See, you
Yes.
qualify. You're awesome.
Welcome to the club.
Yes. So
Also,
have you been doing music? Oh, so this is Nick Guzman, everybody. Welcome to our show, our special guest, Nick Guzman.
Thank you.
And so what I know about you is you've just been this singer-songwriter, like kind of super kid your whole life. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think I'd say that. Well, I started writing music, when I was real young, but I haven't recorded any songs.
But you're recording now.
Yes, I'm recording right now. I recorded a song last year called Am I Trembling?
Which is on his website. When you go to nickguzman.com, it starts to play immediately, and you're just like, because it's so good. It's the best. And are you gonna do that song for us?
Yes.
I'm super excited. Well, should we do it now?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Tell us a little bit about the song. Do you need to get through, Andrew? All right. Tell us a little bit about the song, and then rock into it.
This is about anxiety. I
can relate to this song. I'm gonna love this. All right.
I have a lot of anxiety, so I wrote this.
Josh.
Don't be laughing at me.
Here goes.
Here we are, Nick Guzman. Am I trembling?
Am I trembling? Yes, I am. I can feel it in my knees. I'm shaking, so cold. There must be quite a breeze. I'm trembling, I don't know what to do. I'm trembling when I think of you. My head is pounding, my heart racing. I've got too much on my mind. I'm shivering in the dark. Someone turned off all the lights. I'm havering rapidly. 60 days and 80 nights. I'm trembling, I don't know what to do. I'm trembling when I think of you. My head is pounding, my heart racing. I've got too much on my mind. Woo! I'm shattering, I'm breaking down. My heart is fragile as a plate. I'm smiling gleefully. Can I take you on a date? I'm trembling, I don't know what to do. I'm trembling when I think of you. My head is pounding, my heart racing. I've got too much on my mind. I'm trembling, I don't know what to do. I'm trembling when I think of you. My head is pounding, my heart racing. I've got too much on my mind.
Yeah!
That was so good.
Thank you.
So good.
Nick Guzman! That was awesome.
Thank you.
So what inspired that song?
Well, every day I feel a lot of anxiety. And just this last year, or the past few years, my brother had I don't want to say this, but my brother had a panic attack.
Mm-hmm.
And it changed his life, and he started exercising more, he started losing weight, and it just made him a whole different person.
In a good way?
In a good way, yeah.
All right. So
Wow.
sometimes I think it's just a matter of like figuring out how we tick and then addressing it. Because as a kid, you can try to be like everyone else and stuff it down inside and be like, oh, I don't, I'm fine. Like, that's why you see so many kids at school, like, swagger, like, because they're posing. They don't really, it's not that,
Swagger.
that's not the word, like,
Hashtag
good
swagger,
old
though.
swagger.
but
It's lit.
they're trying so hard to just keep a lid on it and be like everybody else. And then when they say, well, this is what I have and this is who I am, I have this learning disability or I have this anxiety or, then they can, like, address it.
But what I really wanted to say was I just feel anxiety inside myself, really, because I kind of have it every day. Every time I get excited or every time I get nervous.
Who else has anxiety? Yeah. Everybody.
Bruh. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that song really is great because everyone can relate to it. And when you write your own truth, you'd be amazed about how many other people's truth you're writing about. Because we're all humans. We're all here part of this human experiment we're all just like a giant game of Sims that someone is playing. And they click on us and we do things.
Same.
Lyric.
I have anxiety as well, and I mean, like we all do, but that definitely rang true for me just because that's definitely like how I, feel not most of the time, but some of the time. And so it was just like very, I don't know, it like struck a chord in my heart. No, like, I mean,
is that available for download?
no pun intended. No, but it was really very relatable and
his voice is unbelievable.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's so strong.
What have you've trained a lot, or was it just natural?
Well, I had a little help from my music teachers and mom and dad and
Yeah.
my brother.
Yeah.
Are your parents musical as well?
Well, my father is. He plays guitar. Mom sings occasionally, and my brother is. He's been recording music as well.
Do you guys ever perform together?
Not exactly. No,
It's better that way.
I guess.
All right. So save up that next song because we're going to just dive into questions from other people. We get a lot of questions that come into our app, and we're here to help. So Anonymous writes, if you don't like a guy, what are some ways you'd show it? So what I love about this question is like we have to imagine
Plot twist.
all right, we have to imagine, was this written by a guy who wants to figure out if some girl doesn't like him? That's my first
No.
guess. Does anyone else have a guess? Okay.
I think it's that someone wants to be like, well, that could actually be what it is, but I think someone wants to be like, there's a guy who possibly likes him or her or a girl who whatever, and they're like, I really want to show this person that I don't like them back. Like, I mean, you always get I always get those people that like me that I just don't like, and
I don't think girls
I'm
have
totally
a problem
kidding.
telling.
but like no, but I don't know. Maybe it's a really like, maybe I don't know.
I'm going with my theory. I'm going with my theory because it's also a twist on the old classic of my friend likes this girl. And it's really you want advice for yourself, but you're acting like it's for someone else. So I think he's asking like, how do I know
if a guy or girl
doesn't like me?
doesn't like me.
I mean, I think that people let's assume it's a nice person that doesn't want to just come right out and say I don't like you that way. I would say that. Oh, I have a tip. All right.
Okay.
So what you do is like, let's say you're sitting across the table from them. And their hand is on the table, you put your hand on the table like
Oh Lord.
uncomfortably near theirs, but not touching.
Gosh.
And then you wait and see if they move their hand away
Oh my
or
God.
leave their hand there. No? Yes,
you've said
Michelle,
yeah.
help me.
I'd just be afraid that would make them think that I want them to touch my hand. Like, hey, I'm gonna awkwardly put mine near yours. Can you touch it? Can
But
you
what
just
if you're
put it on there?
If just like the Fritos are here, so I'm here for that.
Fritos are here?
Who said Fritos? We
Then
said
that
Fritos.
just proves like I
Oh
like
my
Fritos
God.
more than I like you, and I think that would get the point across.
All right, so let's
I like
assume
Takis personally.
let's assume they're friends. Let's assume they're friends, and he's trying to figure out how can I tell if she likes me as a friend or likes me.
But shouldn't we? Okay, I think we should do that. But I think we should also say
Just
some
that-
common signs of like when I don't like someone, I'm like, I don't really talk to them. Like I don't take my energy to be like, hey, in the hall, or like I don't like use my energy to like be nice.
Right, you
Like,
don't go out
yeah.
of your way.
Yeah, exactly. Because we do not know if this is a person saying I want to show someone that I don't like them. But it seems more likely what you're saying. But I just feel like, yeah, if you don't like someone, like I would just be like, like I don't want to spend my time talking to them.
Or you don't want to give them
connecting.
the wrong idea, Mozart.
Yeah.
Well, when I don't like a guy, I don't put in an effort to be near them or to make conversation with them. Like, I'll talk to them and be nice, but I'm not like one of those people who just like talks to everybody. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't like somebody, I'm not going to put in all that effort to talk to them. I'll put in my effort to be around a guy that I do like.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a backwards way of asking the question. And when someone does like you, you kind of look around a lot and they're there. They find ways of being around you. They kind of learn your schedule. They are just kind of around. If they're not around, and if they could have been, like if there was an empty seat near you and they didn't take it and they opted to make a point of sitting elsewhere, those are signs. Michelle.
Oh.
I know.
If I don't like someone, I purposely don't laugh at their jokes. Like,
Wow.
That's harsh.
Wow.
That's harsh.
You're so
Wow.
sweet.
it's
You're
a way
really
of
nice.
being like, I don't find your existence amusing, but you can keep going. You can go ahead.
Someone's like, so then I was like, hey. Don't just be like,
You're like,
what?
Like, what was the joke?
Bye.
I didn't.
Sorry,
hear
I
the
didn't-
joke.
I
It
didn't get
wasn't-
that.
It wasn't funny to me.
so either she doesn't like me or she doesn't get sarcasm.
yeah, exactly.
It's one of the above.
No, probably guys would be like, she just doesn't get my humor. It's too good.
Exactly.
She's
Yeah.
just not
she's just
funny.
not on the same page.
Josh.
So for me,
Yeah.
I guess like I would like to hear the answers to this question because a lot of times I find myself in a situation where I'm making any little thing mean that person likes me, even if it's like you're ignoring my joke. I'm like, oh, okay, so let me try harder because she obviously wants like
Yeah.
me to.
You're
So it's like
hopeful.
I know
Yeah,
I'm like
yeah, that's the thing.
like you can't in this situation. I think just even if the girl doesn't want to, like maybe come out and ask her like if she likes you or not, because at the end of the day, like the only surefire way is like really hearing those words like I like you, I don't like you out of her mouth, because you can spin anything to mean that person likes you.
Josh, are you aware that last night The Bachelor told 2 different women he was in love with them? Okay.
That's
Yeah.
reality TV
Yeah, he
for
went
ya.
there. Yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
Does he love either of them? No.
I don't know. I don't know. Plot twist.
Are they pretty?
They're all beautiful. They're all quite
They're
lovely.
all pretty, Lyric.
Yeah, they're all.
to be.
Well, the prettier one he likes. I'm totally kidding.
He probably does like the prettier one.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think either of them are particularly smart. So, like, what else is there to, like, want? So then it's just going to be like...
Ooh, Bachelor burn.
Creating some
Yeah, I mean,
enemies on the show.
Because any woman that's going to go be on a show that's, like, just going to be there just to, like, try to get a guy with, like, in a competition with a bunch of girls, like, I just feel like you're not going to be, like, particularly... like intellectual.
So
It's not really.
I'm sorry if you're watching the show and you're like a bachelorette and
No,
or one of those people and you're just like crying.
I'm gonna go home tonight and tag them in this.
It usually
No.
it usually does not launch a career on CNN. Is that your point? Okay.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's her.
All right. Anonymous writes, my friend is turning into a brat. She calls me a freak. She grabs my phone and talks to my friends pretending to be me, and keeps telling people how I kissed a girl in Truth or Dare and making a big deal out of it. It's starting to get out of hand, but my mom likes her and always invites her over. I don't know what to do. So I'm guessing you've talked to your friend and said, hey, calm it down a couple of notches. I'm guessing you've already tried that. But go ahead, Mozart.
Oh, I was just going to say, first things first, you should talk to your mom. Tell her to stop inviting her over. Tell her how you feel so that your mom isn't the one initiating everything, and you can start to kind of distance yourself from her if that's what you want, and just stop talking to her all the time and stop making such an effort to be her friend, and eventually she'll get the message and she'll be like, oh, what am I doing wrong? Is there something that I'm doing wrong that she doesn't want to hang out with me anymore? And maybe she'll ask you about it, and you can like just straight up tell her, you're not being nice and I don't like you anymore, so like chill.
Yeah. Lyric.
Yeah, I think she's like pretty much getting to that point right now. But I think I see an issue as like with her mom and stuff, because like I know, like, if your mom, like, likes your friend, like, yeah, they're always going to invite your friend over because, like, they think you want to hang out with them. So I think you need to really make it clear to your mom that, like, you're in a rough patch with her, and if she could not invite your friend over right now, and then do what Mozart said, and then, like, combined, that will kind of make, like, everyone will be getting the message because your friend won't be invited over, and then you won't be hanging out with her, and then you'll be like drifting apart, and you'll be like, something is going on.
But I'm like a big fan of directness in a sense. Like, before you give her some sort of hidden message by suddenly not having plans with her, first say, you know, you need to cool it down because you're hurting and upsetting me. It hurts and upsets me when you say these things, and it's kind of like it hurts my heart that you, my friend, would be kind of like mean-spirited about your comments. And then when you take a step back, she'll know it's not like some kind of like cloaked behavior.
Oh yeah, sorry, I was thinking that she said, I said to my friend. That's why, no, she didn't. That's why I was thinking that she did, though. And that's why I was saying, like, you can start dropping the hints. But if you never told her that anything's up, you need to tell her.
I mean,
like,
I'm
it's due time.
I'm guessing that she has, and then it didn't work, and that's why she's writing to us.
Yeah.
But in case you haven't yet, before you start initiating a behavior that might be seen as mysterious, because we tend to assume that other people are going to get it when we're sad or mad or like the whole, you know what you did, you know, which is kind of like
oh God.
Not to be sexist, but a female kind of thing for us to believe that other people are supposed to know what we're thinking and feeling, but they don't.
I know
all.
guys that have done
Guys
that.
do it too, yeah. We don't always. People don't always, and sometimes you just have to say. And you can start with an I statement, like, I feel badly when you say that I kissed a girl in Truth or Dare, and because maybe this girl has a crush on you. That's where my head went first, and so there could be reasons why she's acting out in this way. Josh?
Well, I just want you to really examine, like, you're calling her a friend, yet she's also calling you a freak and doing things you don't like, and she, like, it sounds like you voiced that to her that you don't want her to be doing these actions, and I would just consider, like, maybe she's not a friend at this point in time, and that, like, that's how you need to address the situation, like, as if she wasn't a friend. And then you can always get back to being friends, but however, I don't see this person as being a current friend right now.
Fair enough, Lyric.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, definitely there's probably something going on, as well as you, whatever, like, I think it may be something that's going on in her life. Because you said she's turning into a brat, and it sounds to me like she wasn't that way before all the time. And usually when people halfway through, like, a relationship or at some point just kind of change, there's something going on, whether it's like you said, she likes you, or it's like she has some hard family life. I just feel like there could be something, so that's why you need to talk to her to find out what it is. And if there isn't anything, then she may just, you know, be either like really impulsive or something, or have like some issues that she just is not, I don't know.
She needs to get a hold of it because it's going to affect her relationships, and sometimes people don't real like when a good friend sits you down and says you're being kind of awful. It can get your attention.
Yeah,
you know,
for
and
sure.
especially at this age, because because children are just basically reacting. They're not really thoughtful people yet. And so if someone pulls you aside and just says, I need for you to take, like I had an experience at camp where I was being bullied and they switched me to another cabin, and I was still kind of like being horrible to the new kids. I expected them to be mean to me, and I hadn't calmed it down. And this one girl told me, you know, no one at this cabin likes you either. And I was like, what? And she's like, well, you're nice when you're asleep. And like to this day, that's one of the most important things that was ever said to me, because it woke me up. How was I going to let those bullies turn me into them? Like, stop. So sometimes you just need that wake-up call. Like, that's not who I see myself becoming at all. Josh?
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying and what Lyric was saying. There could be something else going on in the home. And then also at that age, like, you try on different characteristics and personalities and things, because you're growing and you're learning, like, who you are as a person yourself. And you might need, that person might need a wake-up call for, like, this new characteristic isn't something that they need to take to the next stage of life.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Michelle?
Going on with what you said, how they needed that wake-up call, or you needed that wake-up call. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, the worst has to happen in order for them to realize that anything is happening at all, that anything is wrong. I totally suggest talking to her, because especially if she wasn't like this before, then something might be happening. She probably doesn't notice, doesn't realize. Maybe she's made new friends who have made her more aggressive about things. But be wary, because some people who start with these personality traits learn to love the drama, and it sounds like she's really into just bringing that drama forward, and she might take what you say to her and explode it into a million pieces. And
that is really
if she shared with
my
others
God.
that you kissed a girl, she might share with others like, hey, you know, like she told me this, like I can't believe this. Like, just twisted people do twisted things, and if she's not completely turned bad, like if there's hope that she can still be your friend, then that's awesome. But just know that that might not be the case.
So be careful.
Yeah.
You know, go into it and just be aware that if it starts to, you know, 'cause sometimes when you're having a heart to heart with someone, you can just tell this is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And you just say, you know what, I need to go. But don't let them escalate you up to where now you've been guilty of saying these things because they got you rattled. If you start to feel yourself get red, just shut it down, Lyric.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let you go ahead, and then I'll go after that. But
Okay.
Because you guys were just.
Just the last thing, just remember that your happiness should always come first. And if this friend is not making you happy and she's only bringing drama to your life, then you're not happy anymore. And you can't keep that with you. No matter how much it hurts to lose a friend, that's just not something you should be living in every day of your life. It's exhausting.
All right, I think we should move on to the next
Wait,
question.
can I just say one more thing?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. Just, I had a friend who like was always telling me, oh yeah, there was like this almost every day, like there was a gossip or something going on with her friend, and like she was always fighting with someone in her school. And then she would be like a couple days later, yeah, we made up. And it sounded like pretty big things that she was talking about. And later it ended up happening to me, a lot of the things. And so there are people that just do that like drama. Like, it's an
thrive on
addiction.
it.
Yeah, it's like it becomes like, because they like the excitement. Maybe their life isn't that exciting, so they're like, I mean, whatever psychological reason. But I definitely think that you should consider that, because that was I've had that happen to me, and it's not pretty.
Good insight.
Yeah.
This is the first question of this kind that we've received, but we're going to
Power through.
We're going to just power through it. And
I actually saw this in the.
if I read this out loud, I will
like-
be on record as someone can take this, and destroy my political career, because I will have said the following: I work at a strip club.
Someone's gonna cut that and put that
That's
on
what
like.
I'm gonna go home and I'm
And
gonna
I
go
have
do it.
approved this message.
That's it.
On I Kissed a Girl's Jill Sobule song.
Yes.
That's all.
We were
Thank
like,
you,
we
Nick.
were waiting, like, is there gonna be a story?
you,
And then
Nick.
you're just like,
Yes.
that's it.
I work
Oh
at a
my
strip club as I am going to school, and easy money is helpful. A friend of mine works at one of the best strip clubs in New York City. She said I could easily get a job there and make almost 4 times the amount of money I make now. I really want to start working there, but my boyfriend won't have it and threatened to break up with me if I work there because it's a real strip club and he doesn't want other men to be able to touch me. I don't want to lie to him about it, but I don't know how to convince him to accept that I need the money, and that's all it is, easy money. So before I throw it to you guys, I do want to say I believe there's no such thing as easy money. And if you think it's easy, you're paying for it in other ways that are not just your time and your energy. It's not easy money because you are spending something that's really, really important, which is your self-esteem. Lyric?
I just feel like I'm not going to be like, you shouldn't be working at a strip club.
Oh, I am.
But she says, no, Fennel was like,
Jenny
was like,
said stay on topic,
yeah,
but
I just feel like you can't have this conversation without talking about how this is just, I would feel 100% the same way as your boyfriend, because, you're sharing your body with everyone, and that's just supposed to be for you and your boyfriend or whoever, I just feels kind of like, I don't love that you're working at a strip club, and it's not easy money. I mean, like, there's so many other things. You could work at McDonald's. That could be easy money.
No. Let's.
I mean, it's
let's
just like,
be honest. She's going to make a lot more money at a strip club than she's going to make at McDonald's.
Yeah.
With her clothes on.
Yeah.
But, and it's an astronomical difference. Let's just be clear. But even though Jenny said, stay on topic, I still care too much about people to say, all right, well, I'm just going to advise you that if you want to work at a strip club, you're going to need a different boyfriend who's okay with you working in the sex industry. But I'm gonna tell every human being, if you work in the sex industry, you're gonna give up something of value, which is how you feel about yourself and how you feel about your attributes, which have nothing to do with your appearance, your heart, your mind, your personality, all of the wonderful qualities that you possess. Because once you're being objectified day in and day out, and you're just this body to a bunch of men, you're going to start thinking of yourself differently. And it's not healthy. I know that the sex industry is going to exist whether or not I tell girls not to go into it. So I don't really feel like I'm tampering with the livelihood of people who do work and continue to decide to work within the sex industry. I'm just saying it will change you. And that's how I feel. Josh?
So I saw this question in the app, and I was like on the fence about answering it because, first of all, there's not really a question asked. It's more of like, I'm going to do this, and my boyfriend wants this, and I'm not going to do this.
I mean, I think the question asked is, how do I convince him to accept that I need the money?
That's the question,
yeah.
And there is no way to
No, you can't change people. You can only
change his
your own
opinion and his moral guidelines. I mean, I'm not necessarily agreeing or disagreeing with her actions in her life because it's her life. She's the only one who can make her own choices. But at the end of the day, like, your relationship's over. And unless you take the steps to not be doing what you're doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, most people think of their partner and their partner's body as being something sacred that is shared between only the two of them. That's part of the intimacy in their relationship. So when you take that intimacy and you and you share it elsewhere, or take that something special that he feels is private between the two of you, and you make it unprivate, it will change the level of intimacy that you're able to establish with an emotional partner.
What about actors?
Well,
actors and actresses. And
you mean if they're doing a nude scene?
Yeah.
I don't feel that that's as much of a violation of self as wrapping yourself around a pole in front of people that are there really just
for that purpose.
Yeah, for that purpose. I don't know if I've articulated it properly, but if you're playing a role, you're not yourself. You're this person that you're playing, and it's not you that's being looked at that way. It's the character that you're embodying.
I mean, in 50 Shades of Grey, I feel like it was totally like people were there just to watch, like, I mean, like, you know,
right? But we could
not like a quality movie.
We can
like,
get into a really deep conversation about where does something start to become porn.
I mean, do you want to?
No, not now.
I'm like
now, but
no, because Nick is very young and he's impressionable, and we just have to raise him properly. No, I'm just teasing. No, but that's a really good question. It's like, where do you draw the line? Is a very, very excellent question. We could talk for hours about it. But specifically, let's just address whether or not a young lady going to college can support her career or her college aspirations by working as a stripper. Mozart.
Well, I just wanted to say that school can be very expensive and it can impact the rest of your life because of student loans or just whatever you use to get through it. And how you choose to afford college is your decision, because, like, if you feel that if you work at a strip club and you make enough money to support your college career, I guess, I don't know if I phrased that right, then you should do it, because that's the only way you're going to probably end up not with a crap ton of debt.
I don't know if there's a guidance counselor in the world who won't disagree with you and come up with a solid plan to keep your clothes on and pay for college. Lyric.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just like, okay, a couple of things. One, people may not take you as seriously. Like, when you're applying for a job, people will go through the internet and look for you and see what you post on Facebook, on whatever. Like, I mean, I would say that that's pretty true, because I've talked with people who, are like job people, and they're like, yeah, we look at, people's outside social media, blah, blah, blah. And so someone may find you on like on a strip club website, or like a picture of you, and be like, oh my God, like this person has worked as a stripper. Like, we don't want them as part of that. So I feel like, what's more important for you, your career? And like, maybe it means that you're going to have to get another job that pays less. But I think your overall image of yourself and your overall image in general is just going to be so much lowered if you're doing this. And also, I feel like people who are working at strip clubs probably aren't in relationships, because let's face it, what partner would want to see their partner getting being shared by a bunch of people?
Well, I don't know if we know that for sure, but I do know that in the sex industry, there's a lot of drug use, because usually people feel pretty crappy about themselves, and the best way that they've figured out to get through the day is meth. And so and I think it's just you're surrounding yourself with a lot of emotionally unhealthy people, and it's, I know that we're supposed to stick to the question, and if I'm going to stick to the question, I'm going to say, I'll pretend I'm not your mom or not your auntie for a moment, and that you can do whatever you wish, but I don't think that you could ever or should ever lie to your boyfriend about where you work, or try to talk him into it being okay. If he's a normal guy who loves you and isn't a pimp, he is not going to want this, and it's going to be extremely damaging to your emotional connection. Michelle.
Touching on what you said with like damaged people surrounding that area, that is very true. I do think, though, that it's possible to keep that part separate if you're literally like just there for the job. It also depends on the establishment, because there are some a little bit more high end than the lower ones, and the lower ones are a little bit more upfront with shenanigans. But if what she says is true, if this is literally just a way to get easy money for college, then power to her. Just like, I really hope that like she finds a job and does what she wants to do after she gets her degree in college. If it's what she says, and like she only does it for the money. When it comes to her boyfriend, unfortunately, it might not be impossible, but it will be very, very difficult and very rare in order to find a guy that will be okay with you showing off your body. Like, naturally, they're usually territorial. Yeah. And any idea, like, they come up to you, put your arm around your shoulder when someone looks at you wrong. And when they know that you're on the stage purposely, like, putting yourself out there, it can be difficult. If there is a relationship that stays strong in that kind of context, then you obviously trust each other very much, but it's really hard to get to that point. You usually know them for a while, and then you let them know, like, hey, I do this for a living, and they're like, oh, okay, but I trust you. But that's kind of rare. What I want to know is, you were already working at a strip club, but was he okay with that before? Like, what makes this strip club different than the one that you were working at before? Why now is he suddenly having a problem?
Well, the way I know the question, it was longer initially, and she was working at a strip club on the outskirts of town, and she was not being truthful to her boyfriend about everything that she was doing there. I think he thought that she was just a server, but she's a stripper. So she's already been deceiving her boyfriend. So I think she's got some thinking to do, but I'm going to move on to the next question because we got to get another song from Nick in, and we have to talk to Nick a little bit more. But I wanted to make sure we got to this next one because I think it's a really important question. Anonymous writes, what's okay and normal for a family, and what's not normal and not okay? Can a guy hit his wife or kids? Should there be one parent in charge? So reading between the lines, I'm going to assume that we've got a kid writing in whose dad is telling everyone that he's the boss of everyone, including the mother, and that he's hitting everybody. And so sometimes it's like have you seen the movie Room?
Oh my god!
No, but I
I've-
really want
yeah, I
to.
really
So
wanna
it's like,
know.
all right, so this kid was born and lives in one room, and he thinks that's the whole world. So the person who wrote this question, he thinks that his family is the way families are, and he's just starting to realize, wait a second, is this supposed to be the way it is? So we are here to tell you, no. No one should be hitting anybody inside of a household. And it's never okay for somebody to claim they're the boss of everyone. Yes, the parents are sort of in charge of the kids and they make the rules of the household within reason. It should never involve physical violence of any kind. That's immediately wrong, red flag, and you should go into our app and tap helplines. There's all kinds of places that you can call where you can describe your situation and someone can listen to you and say, okay, here's what I need you to do. Your family's in a state of emergency and you got to reach out for some help. Thoughts, Lyric?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like, you know, each family is going to be different. There's some families that are really against, you know, gays or like very strictly Christian, or some families that are, you know, like, I mean, there's no like normal to some extent. If you know, if your dad is like or mom, but it's probably your dad, not being sexist, is, you know, like, you cannot do this, I'm the boss, and like doing something to your mom and like that's more beyond than just like, we're your parents and we're gonna tell you what to do. That's just strict parents. But if it's getting like where he's so forceful that he's like hitting you,
It sounds like there's terrorism
like,
involved.
yeah, that's just not no nice family that's supposed to be your safe place is doing that. Like, that's just not, I mean,
Mozart?
yeah.
Yeah, like what Lyric said, each family is going to be different and each family is going to want to do different things, but there's a line. There's always going to be that line there that you don't cross, because physical violence is never the answer, no matter what's going on. That's just never going to be the answer, and that's a line that you don't want to cross, that you shouldn't ever cross in a family.
Agreed. Yes, Michelle.
I know a lot of I have a lot of friends who I know with their families, there is like as punishment, there's grounding, there's take away your phone, take away your computer. There were some that I knew, like, while they were growing up, like their hand would get hit with the back of a spoon, or like they would smack their bottom when they did something bad or said something bad, and it was like a way to be like, you know, don't do this, like this is the punishment for that. And there is a very, very thick, obvious line over when it becomes abusive. Like, there are no blurred lines between like, I'm just doing this so that you don't touch the flame over the stove again, and between if you do this, I'm gonna beat you senseless. There is a difference. If your difference is in your situation, you are in pain. Like, if I don't know what you're going through, but if you have trouble moving, if you fear approaching them, if you are afraid for your life or for your mother's life, there is something wrong. And you might know people in your life who you try to tell, and they say, oh no, yeah, my mom does that too. Like, she used to like pull my ear when I said something insulting or like rude. Like that's just normal. Like, sometimes it isn't, and sometimes it is bad. And so if you feel fearful for your life, you go to the helpline, because
There's no punishment that should be administered while someone is enraged.
yeah,
Everything should be back to calm before it's decided what the consequences are. And I think any child who's of speaking age can be talked to and shouldn't be swaddled for going near a flame. Like, you can reason with a 2-year-old and just say, I said no, time out, etc. But Lyric?
I mean, I have a friend who, her parents would like hit the kids, but it wasn't like, like really bad. It was just like, hey, don't do that, because they're like a pretty strict kind of Christian family, and so that was just like what they did. But it was never like out of like a place of like anger. It was just like, this is how we teach our children how to do things. And then like they would stop hitting them as their child got older and started to learn. And that is just some ways that parents, teach their children. I read a story called Who's Irish? It's by this writer, and it's about this woman who's from China, and her daughter grew up in America, and then she's traditionally from China, the woman, and she hit her daughter's child, like, to, like, hey, stop doing that. And she was noticing, yeah, he's learning. That's what we do in China. But then the woman from here her daughter was like, no, that's not how we do it here. So, I mean, there are just people's different moral values. But if it's from, like, a point of anger and hitting the mom, if he's hitting your mom, your mom's there, it's a two-sided relationship. That's just not okay. If your mom and him are hitting you, like, don't do that, then it's like they're both on the same part with that. Sorry that took so long, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. So yeah.
Michelle?
I feel like any form of punishment, if you are punished, it has to come with an explanation of why you're being punished. If they just do it and they're like, no, or like, you did awful, like, why
because I said so.
That's the part of the punishment, or like teaching you something, either to teach that they have the leading ground, or that what you did was maybe socially unacceptable, or like, hey, maybe don't do this, it's dangerous. But if it's just blatant hitting, then it's not right.
All right, so we're gonna switch our gears up and talk to Nick a little bit about his musical influences. So what were the artists that you enjoyed listening to while you were growing up?
Well, I started listening to Tracy Chapman, and then I listened to Bonnie Raitt, Paul Simon, the Beatles, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, the Beach Boys. I've actually listened to a lot of 60s and 70s artists, but going to the Bridge School benefit concert in 2009, I started to expand my horizons and listen to all types of artists from the 50s to the present day.
So are you noticing kind of relationships between artists and then people who influence them?
I think so, because I think I know the Beach Boys were kind of influenced by the Beatles as far as harmonies.
Mm-hmm. And also the Four Freshmen, which Brian Wilson recommends that everybody listen to because their harmonies were really unique. And you should check that out if you haven't yet.
I'll check that out.
Yeah. So you're a big harmony freak?
Yes.
Yeah. So were you always, like, when you listened to music when you were little, were you always singing the harmony part?
Well, actually, when I actually grew up in my teen years or even my adult years, I actually harmonized with them, with the artist.
Would you find a part that wasn't on the record and sing that?
Probably.
Yeah. That's the sign of a true musical ear. Yeah. And who taught you how to play guitar?
I think, well, my dad kind of showed me how to play guitar, and I've also learned from a Beatles instruction video how to play the chords and
that's pretty
how
cool.
to do certain types of licks.
Yeah. Would you, like, listen to a record and think, how can I duplicate that, what I'm hearing?
Well, I do listen to songs on iTunes and on my iPod and get a quick sense of what they're actually playing. For example, in this song Taxman, a D7 actually sounds like this. You know, it has this kind of beat.
So how did you figure it out?
I actually watched the Beatles instruction video.
Oh, that must have been like, yeah, because a lot of people will listen to records and be like, I cannot duplicate this chord. I can't figure. Sometimes they'll have an alternate tuning and they'll be doing something tricky like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's neat that you can now go on YouTube and pretty much figure out anything. So I noticed that your guitar is very autographed.
Yeah.
So did people just pick up your guitar and start writing on it, or did you give them permission to write on your guitar?
Well, I actually asked for, I gave them permission to sign my guitar.
I see Susan's, she always draws that little
Susan
girl.
Castle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty recognizable. So who else has signed your guitar?
That's Graham Nash's signature. To my friend Nick, you sang great, even Cross loved it, Graham Nash.
Wow. That is super cool.
Wow.
And also the Stills also signed it, and Brandy Carlisle. And Vicky Peterson somewhere right there.
Vicky Peterson from the Bangles?
Yes.
Yes. So what?
Don Felder, the Eagles.
From the Eagles. Neat. So is there an autograph that you're hoping to get one day?
Well, not exactly. Well, not really.
Have you ever autographed anybody else's guitar?
At events like the Wild Honey concerts, yes.
So
I've
explain
autographed
the
a
Wild
guitar.
Honey concerts, because from what I see online, it looks like there's just a lot of people on stage who are incredibly musical, making like an extraordinary evening together. Is that what's happening?
Well, yeah, pretty much. It's also for a benefit to support the Autism Think Tank.
And explain the Autism Think Tank. What do they do?
It's an organization in New Jersey to help people with autism to donate money.
And how do they help people with autism?
I think they do these Wild Honey concerts, to support Wild Honey.
And then, so kids with autism get help in their education to help them learn how to socialize and learn how to learn all about social cues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really, really cool. Was that started by somebody who has a child with autism?
Yeah, Paul Rock.
Paul Rock, yeah. I've got him on Facebook. That's excellent. And so what was the first time where you were told, hey, Nick, you're going to be playing with, David Crosby? And did you go, or were you like, yes, let me at it?
Well, Elaine Hall actually asked me to play an autism event that featured Jack Black and Stephen Stills. And so after I played a Ray LaMontagne song called Beg, Steal, or Borrow, I just got off the stage, and then out of nowhere, Stephen Stills said, oh, yeah, I want to play with this guy. And then next thing I noticed, I was up on stage playing with Stephen Stills.
Oh, my gosh.
Nice.
Do you guys have any questions for Nick? We've got a lot of musical people up here on the panel. Do you guys want to, share musical influences? Go ahead, Michelle.
I'll just ask instead, how do you feel being on those big stages and seeing people out there? Are the lights too blinding and so you just kind of get into the music instead, or was there ever a moment that you were just kind of people?
Actually, I really focus on the music, I try not to think about it,
That's awesome.
I do get anxiety and nervousness before I go up on stage, I have to admit. But
Yeah.
I just ignore it and just go straight into the music.
That's awesome.
So the music is kind of your calm place. Once the music starts, you're just I'm home. I get this.
Yes.
Cool. Josh has a...
I'm dying.
Allergies.
Do you want to step out? You can if
No.
you need to.
R.I.P.
Josh died on March 1st, 2016.
4 days before my birthday.
Do you have a
4
song?
days.
When's your birthday?
It's Saturday,
Saturday.
the 5th.
That would be John Frusciante's birthday. He's the lead guitarist, or was the lead guitarist for the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Wow.
Do you just have this weird birthday memory? Or is...
Well, I do have a knack for asking people's birthdays and who they share them with, mainly with musicians.
This is the new
and
game we're playing.
actors.
Hey, know anyone with October 20th?
Oh, that's an easy one. Tom Petty.
Wow, I love this game so much. I want
What
to
about
marry
what's
it.
your birthday?
November 11th.
November 11th. That would be Chris Dreja from the
my
Yardbirds.
And Paul Cowsill. That's
Paul Cowsill.
Now you know Paul Cowsill is
What
my birthday
about
buddy.
Mozart and Michelle?
Why are you looking at me?
Mozart, when's your birthday?
I already told my birthday.
I don't really say my birthday. It's kind of like a mystery thing.
Okay,
Ah.
well, just pick a random month.
Nick, I have to tell you something. She's internet famous. So she's going to have all these demands and quirky. We had to take all of the, red M&Ms out of the
I
bag.
was literally just gonna say that. I was literally just about to say that.
I'm too famous.
I'm too famous. I don't like green M&Ms.
I wasn't actually birthed. I just emerged.
I just emerged like Beyonce,
I see.
I came through.
like out of a cocoon.
Okay,
and I came out like
Nick, who's your birthday buddy?
My birthday is May 4th.
May
and
4th. Okay.
flowers.
I have a birthday with Mike Dern from Green Day,
Wow.
Nice.
Ed Cassidy from Spirit,
Wow.
and I kind of hate to admit this, but Lance Bass from NSYNC.
Awesome. That's such a good one. That is such a
Swagging
good
it
one.
up.
Michelle, your birthday.
May 21st.
That's Hilton Valentine from The Animals.
How does he know all
Nice.
this?
He's a genius.
I don't get that.
I told you guys.
I'm really surprised that's actually
Andrew.
someone I
See,
recognize.
I know.
Andrew, when is your birthday? June 24th.
A lot of birthdays on that one, but I'll say that one of them is Jeff Beck.
No. Did you know that, Andrew?
Yeah, I don't know who half
Or
these
Mick
people
Fleetwood
are.
from Fleetwood Mac.
Mick Fleetwood
Nice.
and Jeff Beck have
Does
the same
anyone
birthday?
know who these
Wow.
people are?
Aaron, when's
Yes.
Aaron,
Less
when's your
than
birthday?
Yeah, exactly, less than half.
November 6th.
Number 6, that would be Glenn Fry of the Eagles.
Oh my
Oh
god,
my
he's so
God,
smart.
wow.
My voice teacher has the
Scored.
same birthday as Beyonce.
Wow.
Wow,
September
fun
4th?
facts with Mozart.
September 4th, yeah.
And that's
Even
also
backwards.
Martin Chambers from The Pretenders.
Wow.
Wow.
Do you know?
You share the same
Matthew.
birthday as Madison Beer.
Matthew.
I just know that.
September 25th.
That's
know
Will
that
Smith's
name.
birthday.
Nice.
And that's.
Getting jiggy
I know a
with
lot
that.
of people
We
with
can get jiggy
September
with that.
21st.
Oh, that's so awesome.
I know so many people with August 4th. Like, it's crazy.
Like
August
Louis
4th.
Armstrong?
Louis Armstrong.
I have 3 friends.
Fun facts with Mozart. Bum, bum, bum.
Yes. Want another song? Yes.
Song time
I was
with.
just kind of timing it so that we'd have like maybe 4 minutes and he could rock us out. But if you want to
Wait,
tell
let's
us,
answer one question.
we won't have time because Nick has to sing a
A
song.
1 minute answer with lyrics.
If you do you think we can do it?
No, don't let her do it.
Don't let her do it.
Everyone talk really fast.
Like this.
Maybe if lyrics
Yeah,
are the
just
only
go.
person
Just
who gets
all right,
it.
all right. Are we ready? Are we ready?
Right. We might go a little bit long.
I'm a guy and I've grown up living with my mom and I don't know my father. I've started to get facial hair. People mock me at school and it's awkward for me to ask my mom to let me shave. Any tips? Tell your mom I need to shave, Mom. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, you know what? It's like your mom should be saying it to you. Because
Yeah,
Aaron had a
exactly.
mustache for about 6 years and nobody was saying anything to him. I think he shaved last week finally.
No, he's
but
like,
honestly-
no.
No, but it's like that 14-year-old mustache that they all have. You know what I mean?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And they're so proud of it.
So it's like your mom is
They're like twirling it. It's not
and they're
even
so
there.
proud of it. Yeah. So you need to just say, or you can even text mom shaving tips, and like 'cause
Or
she
just
should be
Google
doing
it.
this already, right, Michelle?
Maybe even just if you're afraid of having the conversation with her, just go up to her and be like, Mom, can you take me to the store so I can get a shaver? And hopefully that will
shaver?
open the floodgates.
A razor?
A razor?
Shaver.
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 A
Say
shaver.
shaver, she's still gonna get you.
sharp
I call it a
You'd be like,
shaver.
Mother, give
You'd
me
be
a
like,
knife.
Mom, please help me rid myself of this hipster stash,
End
yeah,
question.
yeah. I mean, like,
Or
this-
get me glasses, and then I can be complete.
and then I can officially be and a beanie, and then we're good.
Done. Give me my aesthetic.
thug life.
All right, Nick. Dog life. So Nick, what else are we gonna hear from you today?
This is actually a cover song. This is Lightning Bolt by Jake Bugg.
All right, hold on. Oh, Jake Bugg, I love that. So let me get my camera rolling.
They
Give it up, ladies and gentlemen.
They hate it. Trying to get me right into
Surrounded.
Everybody,
so
you can go to nguzman.com to find Nick's magical website with so many pictures of all the famous people that have signed his guitar.
Go to nguzman.com now for a 50% discount.
Buy one, get one free.
Buy one at Guzman.
Results may vary.
Call
Or
now.
you could just get it free.
Please get up for Nick
Buy
Guzman.
one Nick Guzman.
Thank you. Morning, it's another pure gray morning. Don't know what the day is holding. And I get uptight and I walk right into the path of a lightning ball. Siren of an ambulance comes howling right through the center of town, and no one blinks an eye, and I look up to the sky in the path of a lightning ball. Met her as the angels parted for her, but she only brought me torture. That's what happens when it's you that's standing in the path of a lightning ball. Everyone I see just wants to walk with gritted teeth, but I just stand by and I wait my time. They say you gotta toe the line. They want the water, not the wine. But when I see the signs, I jump on that lightning ball. Chances, people tell you not to take chances when they tell you that there aren't any answers. I was starting to agree, but I woke suddenly in the path of a lightning ball. fortune, people talking all about fortune. Do you make it or does it just call you? In the blinking of an eye, just another passerby in the path of a lightning bolt. Everyone I see just wants to walk with gritted teeth, but I just stand by and I wait my time. They say you gotta toe the line. They want the water, not the wine. But when I see the signs, I jump on the lightning bolt. Lightning bolt! Silent, I was lying back gazing skyward when the moment got shattered. I remember what she said, and then she fled in the path of a lightning bolt.
Woo! Bam!
Bam!
Nick
Another
Guzman,
one.
everybody. That's
Thank
the
you.
way to do it. Closing out our show, I want to thank everybody. Andrew, Aaron, Matthew, my panel, Josh, Mozart, Michelle, Lyric, and give it up for our special guest, Nick Guzman, everybody. Guzman.com.
We just blew out everyone's ears. I'm so sorry.